big shout out. It's none other your boy George Billionaire, and as always, we're on our way to Hustle Hard every Monday on Capital 100.4 FM. If you haven't watched any of those series, I highly recommend click on the link you're seeing on the screen and go and watch all the Hustle Hard series we've done with Becky K, we've done with Just Precious, we've done over the many years that we've been on air, to give you people who are watching some hope, some inspiration, some PIE, to be provoked, to be inspired, and to be equipped. That's my mandate. So when people hear George Billionaire, it's not about me, but it's about showing you that if I can do it, even you can do it. And my goal is to raise so many people's mindsets to be transformed, so that they also can begin to see a different version of themselves that they currently are seeing today. Now, I tell people hanging around me is contagious, because I will make you believe in yourself. And today we're going to be talking about goal setting, something you've heard so many times before, but I think one of the most important things that you're going to hear today is why some of your goals have not been coming to pass. And today you need to make sure you watch this right to the end. Make sure you click subscribe, share this video to somebody who you know needs to be transformed by the renewing of their mind just by watching these videos. It's not just one thing to watch these videos. The most important thing is to act upon them. It's your boy. Let's go.
At 12:33 on the Pulse, Harare is a heartbeat. You're tuned into Hustle Hard with George Billionaire, and on this show, I don't know what you people call him, but the moment he is on this show and the faders go up, his name is not George. His name is Uncle Billy. Okay, Uncle Billy, Uncle Billion. That's who he is, right? And Uncle Billy comes through and he just talks to us about life. You know, basically, that's what he comes to do. He comes to talk to us about life, but then he steps into the shoes of what he knows best, which is business, entrepreneurship, and he talks big on motivation, determination, but above all, he speaks on the discipline side of things. Like, I can come through and talk to you about all of this, but can also not discipline. So please, let's have discipline. And George G, Uncle Billy. Yeah, so we don't want the things to evaporate after he's spoken, and then we're like, Anzichi, apply the discipline, apply it. And we've seen countless testimonials, people sending through messages that now George this way, and he has helped me in this regard. And also every Monday he hosts master classes, and it's a business masterclass, business mentorship, and he just basically helps you with your life. So whether you're in business or not, in future you might think of starting a business or running one, or you just want to help yourself as a brand. Remember, you are the biggest brand. You are a brand, and you need assistance with your brand. That masterclass is the class to be taking. Holla holla.
Holla holla. It's your boy.
It's your boy.
George Billionaire.
That's right.
With none other, the one and only Becky K. And it's always good to be here on Hustle Hard every single Monday.
Yeah.
And Becky, I'm always loving the vibe you come in with on a Monday.
I love Mondays.
Tuning into you on Monday, driving here, I was like, yeah, you know, it's good to have somebody who's positive.
Right.
And somebody who's thinking outside the box. I love you're talking about insanity.
Yeah.
And there are many people out there who have every reason to blame everybody else. But if they look deep down inside, they're not changing anything that they are doing. Mm-hmm. So you'll find their life is the same from before elections, from the time they left school, from the previous job they had.
Yeah.
They are still the same mindseted people who think that there's somebody who's going to come to assist them. Mm-hmm. But we say here on Hustle Hard that breaking news alert, nobody is coming to rescue you. You are the commander-in-chief and captain of your life. And the person who is responsible for where you end up is nobody else but you. The only thing you need to deliberately do is to decide that I have to do something different.
True.
I have to take action with all these nuggets, wisdom, ideas that are coming my way. And I have to become a person who is going to be a person of influence and ultimately make a difference in my country, in my community, and more so in my general life.
Now we are 6 months in. I cannot believe this. Like 6 months has come and gone.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people gladly, I'm not one of them, hallelujah. I know a lot of people who are sitting and looking back and thinking, what have I done with my life? And they mean this in the most honest way, but in the most honest way, in terms of I need to be doing something. But that's all they ever do. That's all they ever do. They sit and ask themselves questions, but to get up and do something, to get up and take action is another question. It has to take a whole crane to lift them up and be like, hey, at least we've moved you from this point. Now just go out there and do something. And then there's another group that is like, we are grinding, we're hustling, we're moving, but hey, I feel like I'm moving in slow motion. For those people, we all know that eventually the time and the work that they've put in is going to show. And then there's another group that are doing things right. They are waking up early, they are using their time wisely, they are spending wisely, they are saving, they're in business, they are attending seminars, they're investing in themselves, they are eating well, they're exercising. I mean, like, you look at them, you're like, especially when you're not doing the right thing and you see people doing the right thing. So we've got those different types of people listening in right now who are like, George, I'm just here to hear, pump me up for the next hurdle that I've got. And then there are some who are like, Uncle Billy food, and I would zima radio because job, I'm just over broke and what. And then there are others who are like, what's going on? Yes. Yeah. So to the different groups of people that we're going to be speaking to today, we are 6 months in. We've got another 6 months to go. We're already entering into the 7th month. So as Mangwana, or the day after, we're already in July, month 7. What are some of the things that we should be looking at in terms of goal setting, readjusting, refocusing? What am I looking at? Am I continuing doing what I'm doing, or do I have to take a few steps back and review the things that I've done so far?
Awesome. So big shout out to everybody. And again, it's always good to hear that feedback from the various people around who are really applying some of the things that we are talking about on the show. George is not an expert in business, but George is somebody who is just there to help you go from where you are to where you're supposed to be by giving you some insights and his own perspective, which sometimes can be very provocative. But believe you me, my ultimate goal is to bring the best out of you. So we're 6 months in and there's 6 months left. I think the greatest challenge with people that forces them never to actually realize their own dreams and fulfill their goals is one basic thing called self-mastery. Now, Becky, there's things that you want to achieve personally. And if you yourself don't see yourself able to achieve those things, putting them down on pen and paper and saying I'm going to achieve this is not actually going to amount to anything. So there are people who look at the Joneses next door and they feel, no, because the Joneses bought a car, let me put a goal to also buy a car. And that unnecessarily puts pressure on you at a time and point where, remember, like we've said on the show, that flowers blossom at different stages and times in life.
True.
So your goal should be your personal goal. You need to look at yourself and look at where you are, because you are still renting, you are still staying with your parents, you are still in the middle of constructing a house, you're still in the middle of something. But then you have to look deep down inside yourself as an individual to see, what do I need to achieve this year for me to actually go forward in life. So the reason why most goals are not ever realized or achieved is because people lack a simple word called consistency.
Okay.
Now, I remember once upon a time when I was in the middle of a building project, one of my goals was to finish building a house. And I made sure during that time, as silly as it may seem to many, I used to really analyze what I used to spend unnecessarily on. I would go have lunch. I would do a lot of things. But because I had a plan and a goal, I would always equate whatever I wanted to spend on a number of bags of cement.
Ooh.
So I would say, if I buy this is equivalent to X amount of bags of cement. If I spend this money, this will derail me from reaching my goal at a specific time rather than me sacrificing the immediate, and then I can always enjoy this later. So people don't have consistency when it comes to goal setting. When you say to yourself you want to work out and lose specific number of kilos, that means there's a consistency that you need to do in order for you to realize that specific goal that you want.
Right.
But because of lack of consistency, you write that thing, you close that book 2 months, 3 months down the line. There isn't anything that's reminding you of what you're supposed to do. But there's that person who you're saying, who seems to be progressing in life. That person has understood that, listen, there's a word called discipline and consistency, which are 2 key words in order for you to realize your goals. Because without discipline and consistency, we can talk about goal setting all year long.
Absolutely.
But as long as you don't have these 2, discipline, it's not about what other people are doing. I need to make sure that I satisfy my personal goals. If it means I'm not going to eat specific foods, I'm not going to drink alcohol, I'm not going to, because I need to reach a specific thing, it means no matter how many people can offer you those things, it can be free, it can be at a party, it can be whatever. You know that, as for George, I am not doing this, and I'm not going to spend unnecessarily because I have a goal. So this is the reason that has, messed up so many people. If you look today, there are so many pressures around the world. If you look at your phone, everybody looks like they are doing well. And I've said this, those people who are doing well, you don't know what those people sacrificed in order for them to be where they are.
Absolutely.
But you think, no, it should happen over 3 months, 6 months, a year. But some of those great successful people have sacrificed 4 or 5 years of their life living under their own means in order to make sure that their goals are reached. But you think, no, how is it working for them? And you personally haven't even gone 3-4 months being consistent in that craft for you to actually realize your goals.
0719-100-404. We got Uncle Billy in studio, also known as George Billionaire, and we're talking all things what to do in month 7, closing off month 6, and goal setting. Now there's something called SMART goals, right? Where they are you are specific with the goal. The goal should be measurable, it should be attainable, it should be realistic, and then it should be time bound. You must actually have a time, which I'm going to start doing this here, and I'm going to finish it doing at this point. Is that what you did when you were building your house?
The greatest thing with goal setting, just like you said, we all know the SMART, how to do that. But the thing that hinders people, like I've said before, is that they want the immediate. They get money now and they think, no, I want to spoil myself. But with a goal, with whatever it is you want to do, remember, a goal is something that it's a long-term thing you want to achieve.
Right.
So you write it down. And with goal setting, the amazing thing about, I have a 20 list of things I want to achieve this year. So far, I've achieved about 7 or 8 of them. I still have 12.
And you don't feel pressure?
The thing is, once you achieve one goal, there's motivation to keep being consistent. I tell people that consistency is key.
I like that. So once I achieve a goal, that's where the motivation comes from, that I can achieve the other ones.
That's
so
right.
Unless I achieve something, the motivation is just exactly that. It's just a motivation. It's not pushing me to do anything if I don't achieve something.
Yeah. So there are many people who, I can even say this, Becky. When was the last time you read a book and finished it?
Wait.
You see, so there we go. I like that book, Becky. It looks like it's got 30-40 pages, but I like that.
No, wait.
So understand, it's a small book. It's
got 100 and...
Okay.
Oh, okay, no, I can't count that. 115.
That's amazing.
Pages.
Now, Becky, imagine if there's an individual listening to us today, who cannot even finish reading a book, it also attests to me that you're going to have a lot of unfinished things in your life. There are people who I grew up in Glenora who built their houses halfway. And up until now, some of those houses are still not complete.
Done.
There are people like that who start at the projects, and because they have never finished the last one, that's going to be their way of quitting at every stage. When things get tough, they think, no, let me quit, let me try something else. So if you're that type of a person, make sure when you start something, you finish it. There's something mentally that happens to yourself when you tick on that done, that wait a minute, I'm actually somebody who starts and completes a task. There are people who face challenges, and because of those challenges, once things get tough, once they've started a business and they know sales, they immediately think, rather let me go back to my job. But then you won't
let's just
realize.
Take a caller. Just hold on, let's take a caller. Hello, caller. Thank you for calling Capital. What's your contribution? Mushe. Marijuana say. Okay, Mati. Can you reduce the volume of the stereo behind you? Okay, thank you. All right, yes, you can go on. True. Yeah, that's true. Oh, okay. I was really hoping he was going to go on, but the point that he raised there is, yes, you can read the book. It's talking about success and everything, but the success won't just come because you've read the book. You actually have to put in the work for the success to actually happen.
Do you know, one of the major contributors of me fulfilling my goals, which I think I've hammered on so many people, and this is a point that I've highlighted many times. The one reason that has helped me achieve some of the goals that I've set is having similar-minded people around me who are also in pursuit of pursuing goals.
Right.
Now, when you become the odd one out in your group of friends who wants to do something, you are going to have the naysayers. Those who are just trying to belittle your achievements. You want to lose weight, Becky? Really? How are you going to lose 20 kilos? And you're going to have those people who are going to, try and diminish any idea you have. To say, no, why don't you stay on your job? And because you have a goal of doing something bigger, get it correctly, the people around you are going to directly affect how you're going to be consistent in achieving your goals.
Right.
So when you hang around with people who are goal-focused, oriented, I've always told you, it's very uncomfortable being around people who are successful because you're constantly seeing growth.
That's true.
There are things that they are doing. And then you get to look at yourself and say, but wait, we are the same. We are breathing the same oxygen. We're in the same economy. But with them, they are doing a little extra on top, and this is why they are achieving certain things. So if you look at the people you are hanging around with and they have no ambition, no goals, no progress that's happening in their lives, you are also going to become like those people.
Yes.
So at the time when I was building, like I'm saying, there were similar friends who were just finished, and there were times when things were tough, and they said, listen, this is what we did. We also did this calculating of money and we equated it to that, and until we finished, we actually saw this discipline and consistency helped us to finish whatever we were doing. So it's the same thing with you. When you really want something bad enough, you're going to really outwork yourself and do things that are outside your comfort zone because you want to achieve that goal. Sometimes it may not be the most comfortable thing, but at the end of the day, the person who ends up becoming a better individual is yourself.
True.
So goals are meant, and we've read about goal setting.
Should we be setting them?
For anybody, remember, I tell people this: how can you build a house without a plan?
True.
You cannot build a house. You can't just say, right, put that brick over there, let's do this, and then you're just going to live life. Life is not lived like that. So having goals of saying, you know what, even as companies set goals,
They
sales targets. We want to increase our market share. Any ordinary company just doesn't say, okay, guys, go and sell whatever you get. That's that. There has to be measurable to see, are we growing? Are we losing some of our key stakeholders? What are we doing to retain some of those people we've lost? So goals are important in our personal lives, in business, because without them, what are we operating and living for?
Yeah.
Remember, as a human being, we were made to grow, right? But we are also meant to grow financially, not just to grow age-wise. Because every year, remember, you're going to celebrate your birthday. But that's a celebration. At the end of the year, it's going to be my birthday. That's great. But at the end of the year, also you need to be able to tick some of those things that you deliberately say, this year, I want to increase our market share from 10% to 15%. I want to increase my property portfolio. I want to increase certain areas. And you need to be able to look at the things that you would have done and not done. And it's not beating yourself down, because a man without a plan is the worst person on earth than a man who has a plan. Remember, we say failing to plan is planning to fail. So without a goal, there's not much you're doing in this life besides, praying every morning and thanking God, and that's that.
That's
but then
if you pray.
But then you need money. You know what I love about money? It says money answers all things.
Yes.
And if you don't have a goal and a plan to make money, you are going to be poor. The poor you will always have. Yeah. And most of the time, people who are poor are actually those are the people who actually don't have a goal. People don't have ambition.
What's the plan?
They'll tell you, no, we're waiting for government to open opportunities for us. We're waiting for the new election. We're waiting for a shift in policy. We're waiting for... They're always waiting. And understand this, there are those who wait and those who take action.
Right.
And most of the time, those who take action
get things done.
That's right.
There's a listener here who's saying, ndo pandinotadza panyaya yekutanga apo mandibata zvenyu ndinoverengera chatova chirwere chaicho, but I'm very ambitious. He's a chauffeur, CBD umu. So he's got a nice profession, probably has flexible time, he's got time on his hands to be doing something, but arikuverengera.
Yeah. Remember what we said, procrastination is the greatest thief of time and is a very close relative of poverty. Right? Remember, in the Word of God, it says God will bless the works of your hands. That means you have to be doing something.
So while he's driving around, there could be a business making money for him somewhere else.
That's correct. And I've said this to all those who are going to work. Remember, a job is a pathway. You're on a journey to go somewhere. You don't stay on the job, because if you look at everybody today who is owning a business, they started somewhere. But the only difference is that they got tired of being where they are. Certain things weren't adding up. They had ambition. They had a goal to say, you know what, I want to live a better life. And they took action. That's the difference with most people who are up there compared to the others. If you have an ambition to do something, the only difference between you and the other people is that the ones who you are reading about now, the ones who you are accusing of, they didn't get their wealth in the correct manner, they deliberately took action and did something that you, yourself, an individual who is the same human being as them, don't want to take action. They went a journey and decided to submit documents, decided to open a business, and you are keeping on murmuring and complaining and hoping that one day something will fall down, manna from heaven, and money will be in your bank account and you're going to be rich. But unfortunately, that's not how life operates.
And let's focus on time management when it comes to setting goals and getting things done. You said you had how many goals that you had set out?
I've got 20 for the year.
20 for the year.
I've got about 8.
Ain't that a lot?
It depends on who you are.
Okay.
I've got fitness goals, I've got books goals, I've got people I'm supposed to meet goals, I've got places I'm supposed to go.
So if we look at the goals that people are setting, normally there'll be 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 20, right? What's the time allocation that I'm giving to each goal? Or am I just like, let's go,
So
whichever one I can achieve, maybe goal 20 first, and then goal 15, and then
So
is there a
with
sequence?
the goals, it's not about. For me, I say you need to be very real with yourself to be able to set a goal that is realistic, measurable, achievable, right? Not to beat out of the bush and go for something that is so huge that's going to demoralize you. And you need to be able to track yourself. You know, there are those fitness guys. I have a watch every day. I set a goal to say I need to walk 10,000 steps, and it's on my hand. I can actually tell how many steps I've done daily. So every day you need to be able to look at your goals. I have one right next to my desk in my office. I have one right next to my bed where I sleep. So when I wake up, I see it. When I'm in the office, I see it. On my phone, it's there. It's constantly, consistently reminding me, George, this is what you need to do. So you need to walk, you need to exercise, you need to work out, you need to invest in this. So it's how much you put it in your face. Others write it down, put it in a book, and close it, right? But you need to constantly be looking at how far have I gone? How far am I with this? But the key word that people need to understand, without discipline and consistency, whatever goal you want to achieve, without those two major things,
consistency and discipline.
You are just dreaming, and wishers never get anything done. They will talk all day. They will, be fascinating about, one day I want to own a helicopter, a jet, but without discipline and consistency in the craft that God has blessed you with, which is your gift, your business, your product or service, none of those things will materialize. You really have to go in dirty, be dirty, work on that craft until you become that person with time. And the last time I checked, there's no one who is consistent, hardworking, who did not ever realize their goal. Because discipline and consistency. There's so many Christians listening. It's okay to go to all-night prayers. But remember, it's okay to do all those things, but you still need to go and work. Because biblically it says he will bless the works of your hands,
so
not the words that come out of your mouth. If the words alone would make us rich, Becky, you and me, with our big ambitions, would already have those billions. But we need to wake up daily
and do something
consistently and be disciplined every morning to go and look for that money that we want. Because it's not going to come to you, my fellow brother, sister, Christian, whatever religion you are. You gotta work hard and achieve the things that you want to do.
This has been quite exciting, exhilarating, and really pushing us to the edge there to think outside the box, like literally just check the box. Go and revisit your goals, go and revisit the things that you have set out, and allocate time accordingly, because some goals need more effort than others. Chiremba wemi manzi, oh my gosh, really? Anzi, you are emphasizing the importance of setting goals in achieving success. Having clear goals can help you focus your efforts, stay motivated, and track your progress. Well, that's what they got from there. And then our chauffeur says, thank you so much. Tavatraga foot next month chauffeur tobvunza kuti makazoita sei ne-information yataka kupai. We're about to get into the 1 o'clock news. You can keep it locked on Capital 100.4 FM. If you missed the whole talk on Hustle Hard with George Billionaire, you can catch up with it on our Facebook platform or on George's page on his social media platforms, or they can call you on
0712 840 840.
0712 840 840. Nenge number yemasiti NGD. Usaseki inumber yemasiti nchatuza chokwadi. It's 1 o'clock. Stand by for the news.